talking about? I don't know. It sounds kind of weird. Make me a little curious, though. We should go over there. You want to go over there? Yeah, come on, let's go over there. All right, okay, let's go over there. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome
Hey.
to Whispering at the Party with Neuvias and our team. I'm Haley here with Margie, Murray, Lynn, and Carol. Good morning, fam.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, conscious beings.
I'm so happy to have you here. So I do actually want to ask everybody, because this is something that's been coming up this week for me and for a lot of people in my sphere. The idea of, especially when you talk about like ADHD or autism or those kind of sensitive people, those of us who are awake and sensitive, the nervous system overload that you can sometimes feel that is not necessarily congruent to your external circumstances. What sort of techniques does everybody have that we could maybe share with people who might need to help calm their nervous system a bit?
That's excellent, Haley. That's a great subject to begin with.
It is. It is.
Let's and Carol, if you maybe want to around this subject, would you be willing to pull a tarot card around like maybe a little bit of that when you're asking for help for your 3D human self, right? Like what do we have from the tarot? And I want to hear what everybody likes to do to help themselves. I know, Margie, I know you've got a good one.
Please, Marge.
You want me to just talk about it while Carol pulls her card and let her focus on the
Yeah,
card?
let's take it in turns. This looks fun. Let's take it in turns.
So, one of the things that I do is when I'm really uptight, or when someone around me is very uptight, I do breathing that I call a sighing breath. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's got a name for it. I call it the sighing breath. So what I do, because if you're really anxious, you can't focus enough necessarily to do like a 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 breath. So what I do is take a deepest breath as I can, like this. And then breathe out while you're sighing. And it sounds really silly, but if you could do it as slowly as possible and start high and keep talking until you have no more breath, or keep sighing until you have no more breath. So let me do it again just so it doesn't sound so silly because I'm talking through it.
Love it.
And breathe until you've got no more breath. And I usually do that 5, 6, sometimes up to 10 times. But then at some point you feel a little switch go off. And the sound helps you focus on calming. And that slowed down breath gets your vagus nerve all switched around, and it takes the edge off like really, really quickly. And it sounds silly, but it's much better than being ready to explode or bounce off the walls.
Right.
Should we all sound silly together to make everyone comfortable? Maybe just
I would love it.
Sure.
Right? Marge, you want to lead us, and like we want to just maybe do a set of like 3 of them?
3? Yep. Let's do 3. Okay. Ready? Mm-hmm. Exhale all the way out. So you've got to get a deep breath. Push it out. 2. Three. And I feel on this one for me, we would go 5.
Okay. 2 more?
No, we could just sit at that. An example for everybody, but you'll see the shift when you're doing it. You probably felt it calm you a little bit, but then there's like a sudden, like somebody flipped a switch. It's pretty cool.
Well, and
It's actually pretty cool.
it's good. That is something I really wish. I don't know what they do in schools with kids, but I think that would be a great thing for kids to for that because that vocal expression is really, I think, like you said, a big part of it. That sound and the frequency and kind of releasing that energy that way.
Hmm. Yeah, it makes a
Yeah, I
difference.
found that very fun.
It it's like a hug.
And don't we all need a hug sometimes? And that's what you need when your nervous system is like freaking out. Is you really just need a hug.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What I did notice
Actually,
was on that. Oh, so you go, Lynn.
no. So, um, actually, Marge was the one who taught me the breathing exercise, especially when life gets hard and I'm very stressed, and it really helps. And also, scents help. Like scents like lavender can also promote relaxation.
Oh
That's
yeah.
That's a good one. I
Mm.
actually just bought like a little BB lavender like room aromatherapy spray, like a travel one, and have it in my purse. And I'm like, so that I can kind of keep it for like, I would like, okay, if we just need a little bit of chill vibes, get that scent. So that's a good one, Lynn.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
In
that.
Australia, over here, we have a lot of roll-on scents. So they come in
Mm.
little vials with a little roll-on ball at the end. They're amazing for the meridian points and the back of the neck and the temple throughout the day. They're
Those,
amazing.
yeah,
Okay,
they
I
help.
want to hear more about that because I don't know those meridian points things with that. But can we quick, Carol? Carol's got her tarot, I bet. Can we do Carol tarot and then
Yes.
Murray tell me about these like scent meridian things? Because that is a thing I don't know. What you got, Carol? And we do love the sun behind you.
Thank you. So today's card, I'm sorry, pulled is the Nine of Cups. So dealing with what we're talking about, the Knight of Cups is basically message of messages of love. So it's basically saying to listen in. Love is surrounding us all the time. It's just some of us don't sometimes feel it. And so with us trying to learn what we're going through, do everything not try, just do everything with love. Um, Messages come through all the time with love. And so we're just saying that whether you're getting outside to get grounded, that always helps calm everybody's nerves and stuff. That's another way to do it. Another thing I would probably suggest is definitely any essential oils as well. Lavender helps, eucalyptus helps, apple oil helps, orange helps. Apple is actually the best. It gets you in a happy mood as
I
well.
love
Um,
apple scented and flavored everything. How awesome. That's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. So even just going out for 5 minutes and getting some sun helps rejuvenate your soul tremendously. So
Vitamin
this,
D.
as you can tell, the Knight of Cups is also in the mountains. So even just going hiking, basically getting out in nature, that's helps
Hug a tree.
tremendously. I cannot express that.
Hug a tree and let the trees hug you back, right?
Or under,
Do everything with love.
Yep,
yeah,
Lead with love. What a great
yeah.
message. Lead with love.
I
it
do
is.
love it. Murray, tell me more about so like, all right,
Oh,
if I've got
absolutely.
the delicious apple scent, where do I want that on my meridians for the most happy fun?
Oh, well, meridians run all throughout the physical body, actually, but predominantly with Western medicine, we like to focus in the top end of the torso. So they're usually commonly found throughout the chest, the arms, and the neckline, and sometimes in the front and the back of the skull, depending on the practitioner or who feels comfortable to go there, being that it's such a sensitive place. But I'd like to just backtrack for 1 second, Haley. I'd like to say something about before that exercise we did with the breathing. I noticed on the third cycle, there was a greater harmony when I realized through my heightened sense that there was other voices coordinating with me. And when I felt that, there was a great harmony that was instantly, like you said, a switch. It flicked for me, and it was
Yeah.
only for a brief second, but I felt it. So you can only imagine the extents of the power of that tool and that being used in a collaborative environment. If you were doing it 10 times, 15, wow, so
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. When I've taught other people it, Lynn will Lynn, you saw this too. I would do it with them until I felt the switch and then point out the switch to them if they hadn't in case they hadn't noticed it. And then do it 2 or 3 more to just kinda like cleanse it, make sure that it's solid. The calmness is more solid in your system. So, depends on how uptight you are or what's going on and how many times it takes. But you'll feel the difference and do it 2 or 3 times just to kinda, it's like setting a muscle after you've stretched it, you know, make sure it stays. It's so helpful.
So helpful.
I
Yeah,
was
so going back to the apple scent, Haley,
yeah.
you could put
Oh,
that, you can put that, I guess the main meridian that would most commonly be used is throughout the arm. So you have one of your most thick veins that runs throughout the arm. You can find that anywhere in that region and just place or rub gently any of those scents along there. They'll stimulate that and send plenty of signals throughout your body to all the regions to let them know that we're coming online.
I like it. So this is something I really love all the practices. I know we're going to be able to help people learn and show them and get together. I think it's great. Like, and Carol, I think you were going to jump in and say something.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say also, you can also get a glass of water and put your intention in there with like, okay, I need this water to help me calm or relieve. And once you drink it, it'll infuse your soul into that as well. That's just a really easy, fast technique if you can't get out in nature or have any essential oil standing by. That's another way. Water is like the best. I mean, your body's made up of water, majority of water, so it's the best tool to use.
Yep. I actually put intentions in my pitchers of water that I keep in my refrigerator. When I fill the pitcher, I put a good, quiet, calming, and inspiring inspiration and energy into the water pitcher,
Mhm.
so it affects anybody that's
Mm.
drinking it.
I love that. Lynn, you were going to say something?
Yeah, actually, I agree with Carol because I do it sometimes before drinking water. Let your let your stress or everything on your mind in that water, and that will help you um feel relaxed.
Yeah.
I
Fantastic. Wow. That's so cool.
I do love the water because it's something
It's
anybody can do,
yeah,
and it is really very receptive. And I will say too, though, because I know sometimes like I've been there, right, where you don't feel like you've got enough positive energy, love energy to put that intention in that water.
yeah,
That's when you can just listen, just ask source or whoever, however you want to ask. But y'all, the Nuvias team is here for you. We hold a container of love space. If you want to ask, hey, Nuvias team, bless our water, we are happy to energetically bless your water for you with love if you're just not feeling in a space to do it yourself.
yes, indeed.
And I love Lynn, I love all your kids just being so happy in the background, having a good time.
Yeah, they want to be in this meeting.
That's okay. Everybody wants to
I
be in
know.
our meeting because we're so fun to
Be
hang out with.
Yeah. Stay.
So cute.
Yeah, he's showing his, feet, and he's always saying, "Happy feet, happy feet."
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh,
Happy
that's
feet.
so good. I think that's great. Happy feet for all of us because we're moving forward into wonderful things.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Uh,
You're
we got the best
so cute.
partners.
So
So,
another remedy, Haley, another remedy I think that most people could fall into quite easily is a calming word. Using a word to bring yourself back to a place of center or 0 point
mhm.
or a form of stillness is really great. So it can create that sense of presence and really block out any distractions in your outer external world that are demanding your attention. It can help you get that recall back to that place. So usually that can come in the sense or the form of 1 or 2 words, and normally a word that's kind of already close to you that you work with or are familiar with or comfortable with. So for me, I have 2 words, and those 2 words are boom boom. And what those words are to me are the heartbeat, boom boom.
I
So
love
I
that.
bring those words to my instant reality, and that brings my mind's eye to my heart. And as long as I'm in my heart center, most things are usually okay, 99.9% of the time.
I love that, and maybe you all have something similar, but I love that it's so a lot of times affirmations are, along the lines of what sort of very specifically you're trying to do, right? So like obviously you don't want to pick like calm down as your words because that's just kind of pressure on yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? So I like that boom boom, right? It's a little bit more abstract, right? In concept and what it like, and it's something that you can kind of focus your mind on that isn't necessarily attached to the negative emotion. Margie, what do you got?
I'm
Oh,
just listening
oh,
intently.
I thought you were jumping in. I do really like that, and I wondered if
Yeah,
anybody else had like little words like that or mantras or something that you might say out loud to yourself. I love that, Marie. That's really cool.
I like that too.
Mhm.
Something that
Yeah, the best
I
part about it. Oh,
no,
yep.
go ahead, Marie.
The best part about it, I was just going to say, is it can grow from being a mantra, 1 word, 2 word mantra. It can become an affirmation because with repetition comes a sense of ownership, I guess, or a sense of embodiment and belonging. So you start to really form a relationship with what you say and what you speak. So that can then grow again from an affirmation if used for a long enough period of time and done with enough full intention. It can then transform into what's called an incantation. And once it reaches that level, some very magical things can occur for that person, depending on what that word is and where they're heading in their experience.
I love that. And the incantations, I think that's also something that I'm a writer. I focus on words a lot, right? So the could you maybe go into just a little bit the difference between like affirmation and can you know what I'm saying? So that
I'd
people
love
kind of
to.
maybe understand the categories or the distinctions.
Yeah, of course. So when beginning with a mantra, as I said, they're usually a 1 to 2 word statement. So they come very short and very defined. When moving into an affirmation or affirming statement, we usually tie 1 or 2 extra words to the front or the end of the pitch. That way it becomes a more of a personalized statement for the right words. So for example, you could go from using the word strong or serenity. I'll use serenity, for example. Serenity could be your mantra word to begin with, which could then evolve into I am peaceful. And that I am peaceful can then grow over time into an incantation. And the incantation, which separates it from an affirmation, is the embodiment of it. So when you get to that level of it being an incantation for yourself, you would now say, I am the power of love and I experience peace. There is there's an affirming sense and an identification and also an embodiment all in the one statement, which actuates it. So you can see just by saying it out aloud, there's so much more depth to it, and it becomes more personalized for that person depending on their experience and what they're saying.
I really love that. That's that's so great. And I love the I think it's really so important in the spiritual realm for people to recognize that it is so very personal. As much as there's a lot out there that says, for example, like angel numbers, like we talk about, like this means this and that means that, or these things mean this. It's like with tarot, Carol, right?
Mhm.
That sure, there's a maybe you can talk a little bit about this, that there's like a standard kind of this is what the general canon messages or understanding of these symbols are, but that there's always the individual interpretation and what it means to you is really important, and there's room for you to individualize your spirituality. So like Carol, if you want to maybe jump in, because tarot I think is a good example for this.
Yeah, I would say depending on how the cards lay, for example, using tarot, at any deck, I have over 48, 50 decks, and any deck that you utilize is always going to give you a different meaning depending on where it lays and so forth. So, um, however you, it's however you take the reading as I always do. It's just how you perceive it is how you would be perceiving that reading. Um, like I can give it the Knight of Cups. Yeah, it can I symbolize what it meant, like what was in regards to what we were talking about. However, in doing a reading, the Knight of Cups can be new love is coming in the door, new beginnings. Somebody's got your attention. So it has a lot of meaning, but it depends on what you're trying to decipher it through. So
So you're saying that when you're doing the layout of the cards, each place and layout may have a different energy behind it?
absolutely, absolutely. So what
I
I may say today about the Knight of Cups, um, from what we're talking about, is what the energy that I got from it. However, if I'm doing a reading for someone and the Knight of Cups appears, and also depending on what spread it's in, it could go either way. Like I said, it could be a new beginning, or it or new love coming in, but not necessarily. It could mean like you're starting to have a new beginning. You're starting to find yourself to love, or something like in that aspect.
mm.
Neat.
So not necessarily an external love. It could be a new version of love within yourself and
Absolutely.
accessing it. That's amazing. Yeah,
And
very
it's all
strong point to note.
and it's all up to like your interpretation and what do you maybe need in the moment, or that's the thing I really love about tarot, and that there are so many different, kinds of decks you can use, or oracle decks, all those things that you can use these different tools for what speaks to you in the moment, for what you're asking, and you can use whatever imagery or symbols that might be on those cards that might have some specific significance to you,
Hmm.
and it's really a tool to kind of ask, okay, what do I maybe want to be thinking about differently, or like I think it's so telling sometimes when you do a tarot reading for yourself, and like where does your mind go immediately with like the symbols that you see or with the messages that are meant, and it's very telling for yourself, like okay, what does my brain immediately think, and is that first. Here's a thing that I have heard before, and talk at me if you agree. Someone had said your first thought that you have when you react to anything is your conditioning. The second thought you have is who you are,
Mm.
right? So like your initial response is usually the knee jerk, the conditioning, the human thing saying, this is what I think about that. But then when you reflect and say, is that who I want to be? Is that what I want to think? Like the second thought you have is who you are. Carol, what do you say?
I was just gonna say, so usually your first thought is your intuition kicking in, and 9 times out of 10 people will second guess that and be like, "Is that what I'm really thinking? Wait a minute, that's really what I should be thinking?" I always say go with your first instinct, because that is source telling you, hey, this is what I'm trying to tell you, and
Yeah.
you're not going to listen to me. So then you start second guessing it, like, am I supposed to really do that, or is that really what I'm thinking? So people always say and guess themselves, and so it's kind of, you don't want to really do that, because usually that first thing, that first thought that comes to your mind, that's usually the accurate one.
I think it depends on the situation and where you are with things, right? Because like at work, when you're in technology, your first thought will always be the right answer. But sometimes it goes by so fast that you haven't grabbed it.
Ooh.
So then your first human thought is like, what in the world's going on? As the first thought through thought is your ego. Your first instant thought is reality, is your spirit. Would you agree, Carol?
Learning how to, absolutely, I fully agree with that. That's where I would be in mine. No, sorry, Carol, just to chime in there, but yeah, I would say that's where I would agree, Marge, with what you just sort of stated. And it's learning to decipher between that very fine moment in time of
Mhm.
what you thought you felt against what you're now experiencing. There's a very, very fine moment there.
And they're usually so quick because your spirit and your intuition doesn't need time to think the words,
Yes.
right? So there's no words with that. It's a feeling. And
But then
once
I also
the
agree with
words come out,
Haley's.
then it's all you.
I have to a degree and extent, I can understand the the terminology behind Haley's statement too, because there is some times in your life where you are in situations or experiences where the first thought that you do have isn't particularly your thought because of the
Oh,
busyness of the signal in the area, and you're aware of that, so you actually move away from it. And then the second thought that drops in could be like, it's time to leave here, or you don't want to be here. And that is kind of mostly for in introverted type beings. They generally follow that advice when it comes through, don't they? Because there's a sense of safety in that for them.
I wonder too if it has to do, like you said, with situationally, Murray, where you're, say you're in a business meeting, and you're totally focused on the business. So your 3D, your physical body is in that moment, and you've blocked your spirit. That's why we're trying to open up the spirit into business, right? So people can understand,
Infused.
no, you should absolutely be using your intuition in your business.
Hmm.
So when you've blocked it to the point where your first thought is your mind, then that would also do it. Because there are situations like Murray said, I was in Manhattan, walking through Manhattan, and somebody touches you and touches your purse or bumps into your purse, your automatic thing is to grab it, right? Because you're on alert,
Hmm.
physically on alert.
We've just
I
been
Yeah, well said.
conditioned that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
well, so I really love this though because I think it really does come down to like the idea of discernment, right?
Mhm.
That, Carol, I think you're right that first your initial is the correct, right? But like Margie, like you're saying, for a lot of people, who maybe don't spend time with spiritual practice or getting the practice of learning how to quiet that internal system, right? That it's so fast you don't catch that initial that who you really are, that spirit source like guidance that comes in. It's just that ticker tape that runs in the brain gets triggered too fast for you to catch whatever it is, right? But then that's where it really does become important to like focus on, okay, how do I get myself into a calm space where I can hear that intuition and that part of myself that is me, right? But like, and I think that's probably where a lot of people are at, that there is so much of that external noise and stimulation, right? Like you're saying, like always on the alert for somebody grabbing my purse kind of thing, right? And so
Right.
you have to find that, how do I create a safe space around myself or for myself so that I can then sit and listen and hear and receive the messages coming to me. Hey
Yep.
Lynn, how you
Hey,
Very
Lynn's
doing?
true.
back. Yay.
Lynn, tell us a little
Sorry.
bit. No, you are totally no. There's no sorries at whispering at the party. We don't require them.
Very slow internet connection today.
That's okay. So what maybe things, Lynn, since um maybe these are things that I would say you've been learning with us, right? And growing with us. What are some things that maybe you've found helpful to help you get to a quiet, calm space for yourself when you need to find that?
Hmm. Actually, I have realized now that there are times that breathing out, I mean most of the time breathing exercise that Marge taught me really works. Now there was this time when, especially in my situation now, I'm really stressed with looking for a house for rent, um and I eventually break down. Now I have tried the breathing exercise um that Marge told me. Now there that's the time I have realized that um it doesn't work all the time.
Right.
And
It's
then
situational.
my yeah, and then my kids run keep on running. um Running there and everywhere, and then I get to see that, and then I have realized, oh, I need to go, I need to life life must, go on.
Go
This
on.
is like, yeah, this is part of life. You need to stand up for your kids.
Yep.
Like,
Amazing.
I have realized that day that no, if breathing exercise doesn't work, just um see the faces of your children,
Mhm.
their smile, so
Yeah.
that really helps.
Oh, I
Refocus.
love.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. Love and
That was very
gratitude.
beautiful.
Yay.
Gratitude
Yeah.
is the key. Love and
Yeah.
gratitude.
Yeah. I'm also reminding myself to always see the positive of every situation, the silver lining.
And the big wonderful thing, right, when we come together like this is that we get with our soul fam and our team and we realize that we don't have to always do it all by ourselves. And you can call for help and you can ask for help. And we're happy to send some energy help to folks, right? And I
Absolutely.
and that's part of why we want to build this community and why it's so important to us. And maybe everybody can throw in a little bit of their thoughts on this, but I do think it's, you know, we don't have to do it alone. We're not supposed to do it alone. That's not the way this human thing was built to be. And there is a lot of conditioning in a lot of our cultures that you have to hustle and you have to be able to take care of it. And you have to be Atlas who can hold up the world all by yourself. And that's such a false premise that we're taught. And that's why we're here with Neuvias, because we do want to create that community and energy space of safety and love for people. Because when you're in a group setting, it can be it's so important for us to all come together as people on the same frequency to offer that kind of space for people to be able to really find themselves. And so, again,
Like,
your thoughts,
like home
everyone.
away from home. Home while you're away from home.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love
And I
it.
also would like to thank for all of the positive energies that you are sending me every time I'm in trouble or I'm having difficulties, and that really helps. And I'm very grateful, forever grateful for that, to all of you.
Power to us.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Power to all of us.
It's the
Mhm.
team. Yay. Together we are more than the sum of our parts.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so true.
It's funny. I had a conversation with myself the other day about humans being pack animals.
it's
If you
true.
think about how wolves or dogs and animals that are pack animals, even the big cats are pack animals because they have an obvious leader an obvious thing, but they don't all
Shelter.
do
Yep.
Hmm.
it's not like the leader tells everybody what to do, right? They're they're protectors in service of their pack. And so everybody's got their piece in it. And then I started thinking, are we pack animals or are we herd animals? I'm gonna have to sit and think about that.
I think the beauty is
Hmm.
that we as humans, because we're sentient in a different sort of way, self
Yeah.
aware in a different sort of way, we get to blend all of it. That we're pack animals, that we have a hive mind, that we have a herd mentality, right? It's
Hmm.
not any one of those things, it's a combination of all of them. Right. And it really just is that we're all so interconnected, whether it's like, again, the hive mind, the intellectual, or the pack, the sort of like protective societal structure, or your sort of like herd mentality of that, like being able to, birds getting into formation or a herd getting into formation, like moving together from that heart center. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing as humans, we have the capacity to get all of those different levels online and in a harmonious space together, right? And that's part of the
Beautifully
Excellent.
experiment
said.
we're here for too.
And as we come into this new paradigm, we are now introducing far more aspects of that. So it's a lot more fun, a lot more inclusive.
Yes, indeed.
Mhm.
I do love it. Would we like to maybe close out and wrap up here with just some leading us and maybe some nice energy for the audience, for folks who might tune in now or later? And if you need some safe space, if you need a good little energy pool or container to step into because you need a little bit of relaxation or just feeling that energetic hug, do we
Yep.
want
Let's do it.
Murray? Can I ask you again to lead us in maybe just a good little energy container for our audience if they need a little bit of a hug?
Thank you. Thank you for the offering. Well, let's take a moment, everyone, and let's just find our center and push that out into this benevolent universe that we're a part of. Neuvias shares in the love of the new universe, forged through many years and eons of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, and service. And we stand and sit here before you as humble servants of this lineage, of this DNA. It is our honor to be here, to be embodied, to be humanitarians, and to be of service in this new purpose, this new mission, and this new endeavor. We as Neuvias are here to create paths to abundance and freedom for all who are willing. Through the empowerment of our free will, we take ourselves forward into what appears to be the unknown, but has always been the known. We illume the way through our authenticity, our courage, our strength, and our diversity. And through this coordination, we will bring about the new earth. We hope that you've received all that you need, and thank you for joining us today in our transmission with you. Much love.
So, so, so much love to everyone. Thank you, Murray. Thank you, Margie. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Carol. And thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
We'll be so happy to see y'all next time on Whispering at the Party with Nuvius. And we hope that you have enjoyed this time and your very, very warm, loving hug from all of us.
Peace.
Bye.